Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Students, I hope and pray that all of you are keeping safe and fine in these stressful times. So, moving ahead in today's video, we will learn National Policy on Education 1986. The National Policy on Education is an extensive document that covers all aspects of education from elementary to university level and even adult education from rural and urban India. This policy was formulated by the Government of India to promote education amongst India's people. The need for the new policy arose from the fact that the implementation of 1968 policy and 1979 National Education Policy was incomplete and uneven. No plan of action was prepared for its implementation, nor were adequate funds made available for the purpose. So, there was a need for the qualitative development of education, implementation of free and compulsory education recommended by Indian Education Commission, removal of wastage and stagnation at the primary stage, modernization of curriculum by making it interesting, activity centered, child centered, etc. And of course, improvement in examination system including evaluation process as well. And last but not the least, that is by enhancing percentage of literacy in our country. Let's discuss in brief the historical background. Before the national policy was approved by Parliament, there was a nationwide debate on its need and contents in which thousands of students, teachers, parents, educational institutions, voluntary agencies, universities, state governments and Zilla Parishads participated. The draft of the policy was discussed in the apex body on the education, that is, the Central Advisory Board of Education and the National Development Council. Nowhere in the history of the education a policy has been debated and discussed at that length anywhere in the world. That way, it is everybody's policy because everyone who matters in education has participated in its formulation. The call for the new education policy was first given by the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, on January 15, 1985. The first draft of the policy was released by Mr. Arjun Singh in August 1985 under the title The Challenges of Education, a Policy Perspective. Lok Sabha passed this policy on 8th May 1986 and it was passed by Rajya Sabha on 13th May 1986. It was also known as the Magna Carta of the Indian education. The educational policy, based on the conclusions of nationwide debate and numerous consideration, comprises 12 parts. First is introductory, the essence and role of education, national system of education, education for equality, reorganization of education at different stages, technical and management education, making the system work, reorienting the content and process of education, the teacher and teacher education, the management of education, resources and review, and the last is the future. First is the introductory part of the policy, which says that the document contains nearly 10,000 words spread over 29 pages and is divided into 12 parts with 157 articles. The second part is the essence and role of education. As education is essential for all, it is fundamental to our all-round development, that is, material, spiritual, physical, emotional, social, etc. Education is unique investment in the present and the future. It develops manpower for different levels of economy. This cardinal principle is the key to the national policy on education. Third part is national system of education. The concept of national system of education implies that up to a given level, all students, irrespective of caste, creed, location, have access to education of a comparable quality. Effective measures will be taken in the direction of the common school system recommended in the 1968 policy. Common educational structure. The national policy on education envisages a common educational structure, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3. Here 10 means 5 years of primary education, 3 years of upper primary education and 2 years of high school education. Plus 2 means 2 years senior secondary education and plus 3 means the college course of 3 years duration. National Curricular Framework. The national system of education will be based on a national curricular framework which contains a common core along with other components that are flexible. To promote equality, it will be necessary to provide for equal opportunity to all, not only in access but also in conditions for success. For understanding of cultural and social systems, steps will be taken to foster among students an understanding of the diverse cultural and social system of the people living in different parts of the country. Besides the promotion of the link language, programs will be launched to increase substantially the translation of books from one language to another and to publish multilingual dictionaries and glossaries. Next is interregional mobility. In higher education in general and technical education in particular, steps will be taken to facilitate interregional mobility by providing equal access to every Indian regardless of his origins. In the areas of research and development, education in science and technology, special measures will be taken to establish network arrangements between different institutions in the country. And of course, for international understanding, education has to strengthen peace and understanding between nations. It has to motivate the younger generation for international coexistence. For lifelong education, opportunities will be provided to the youth, housewives, agricultural and industrial workers, and professionals to continue the education of their choice at their own place. Fourth part is education for equality. All possible efforts will be made on the removal of disparities and to equalize educational opportunity by attending to the specific needs of the women, scheduled caste and tribes, the minorities, and the handicapped. Under this policy, eradication of women's illiteracy, vocational education, and technical education of women have been emphasized. Education of scheduled castes and tribes will be encouraged so that they may spread the feeling of social equality after being educated. Provision of free education, free food, free clothes, scholarships, and hostel facilities should be made. Special attention will be paid to the education of minority groups on the basis of social justice. For the handicapped, especially mentally and physically handicapped children, will be encouraged to get education so that they may effectively participate in the activities of the community. A vast program of adult and continuing education will be implemented through various ways and channels like setting up adult education centers in rural areas, education of workers through employers using radio, TV, and films as mass learning media. The fifth part comprises reorganization of education at different stages. Educational policy has made valuable provision for reorganization of education at different stages, like early childhood care and education, elementary education, secondary education, vocationalization of education, higher education, and distance education. In early childhood care and education, programs of early childhood education and care will be child oriented, focused around play and individuality of the child. Second is elementary education. The new thrust in elementary education will emphasize two aspects. First is universal enrollment and universal retention of children up to 14 years of age. Second is a substantial improvement in the quality of education. Child-centered approach. A child-centered and activity-based process of learning should be adopted at the primary stage. A phased drive symbolically called Operation Blackboard will be undertaken with immediate effect to improve primary schools all over the country. Third one is secondary education. Secondary education begins to expose students to the different roles of science, humanities, and social sciences. This is also an appropriate stage to provide children with a sense of history and national perspective and give them opportunities to understand their constitutional duties and rights as citizens. Access to secondary education will be widened to cover areas unserved by it at present. In other areas, the main emphasis will be on consolidation. Pace-setting schools, that is, Navodaya schools, will also be established in various parts of the country to provide opportunities to the children with special talent or aptitude to proceed at a faster rate by making good quality education available to them. The other is higher education. So regarding higher education, the policy provides autonomous colleges, redesigning college education, planning and coordination, regulated admissions, transformation of teaching methods, qualitative research, setting up a national body covering higher education in general, agricultural, medical, technical, legal, and other professional fields in the interest of greater coordination and consistency in policy. Vocationalization. Vocationalization has received a very high priority in the national policy. The introduction of systematic, well-planned and vigorously implemented programs of vocational education is crucial in the post-educational reorganization. The various provisions in the vocationalization includes like vocation education, a distinct stream, flexibility, health-related and vocational courses, emphasis on self-employment, establishment of vocational institutions, professional growth through bridge courses, non-formal vocational programs for neo-literates, tertiary level courses, management of vocational education. In the distance education, it will also be encouraged. The Indira Gandhi National Open University, established in 1985, will be strengthened. The new pattern of the rural university will be developed on the lines of Mahatma Gandhi's revolutionary ideas on education. Institutions and programs of Gandhian basic education will be developed. So the next part of national policy on education is the technical and management education. The reorganization of technical and management education should take into account the anticipated scenario by the turn of the century with specific reference to the likely changes in the economy, social environment, production and management processes, the rapid expansion of knowledge, and the great advances in science and technology. Programs of computer literacy will be organized on wide scale from the school stage. Appropriate formal and non-formal programs of technical education will be devised for the benefit of women, the economically and social weaker sections, and the physically handicapped. To encourage students to consider self-employment as a career option, training in entrepreneurship will be provided through modular or optional courses in degree or diploma programs. The community polytechnic system will be appraised and appropriately strengthened to increase its quality and coverage. Research aiming at producing manpower will be undertaken by all higher technical institutions. Networking systems will have to be established between technical education and industry. The seventh part of the policy is making the system work. As the country has placed boundless trust in educational stream, the policy wants to make it work. For this purpose, it is essential that all teachers should teach and all students should study. The strategy to make the system work will consist a better deal to teachers with greater accountability, provision of improved student services and insistence on observance of acceptable norms of behavior, provision of better facilities to institutions, and creation of a system of performance appraisal of institutions according to standards and norms set at the national levels. And the eighth part of the policy is reorienting the content and process of education, in which the curricula and process of education will be enriched by cultural content. Universal and eternal values-oriented education will be imparted and promoted. The education policy of 1968 pertaining to the development of languages will be implemented more energetically and purposefully. Educational books at all levels should be improved so that they may become effective, interesting, and useful for the students. Provisions will be made in all educational institutions for library facilities, and the status of librarians will also be improved. In educational technology, increasing use will be made of educational technology in imparting formal and non-formal education. Efforts will also be made to make it available to the most distant areas and the most deprived sections of the society. Work experience will be made an essential part of education at all stages. It will be provided through well-structured and graded programs. Consciousness of environment must be created in schools and colleges. Mathematics teaching will be redesigned to become able to use modern technological devices. Science teaching will be strengthened so as to develop in the child spirit of inquiry, creativity, objectivity, and aesthetic sensibility. Science education programs will be organized to enable the students to solve the problems scientifically. Sports and physical education are an integral part of the learning process and will be included in the evaluation of performance. Encouragement will be given to those talented in sports, games, and physical education. Opportunities will be provided for the youth to involve themselves in national and social development, It will be compulsory for the students to participate either in National Service Scheme or National Cadet Corps, that is NSS or NCC. Continuous, comprehensive, effective, reliable and valid evaluation is essential. So improvement will be made in the conduct of examination. Semester system will be introduced from the secondary stage in a phased manner. So the next part is the teacher and the teacher education. According to National Policy on Education, the status of the teacher reflects the socio-cultural ethos of society, and no people can rise above the level of its teachers. The government and the community should endeavor to create conditions which will help motivate and inspire teachers on constructive and creative lines. For the improvement in teachers' professional competency and his service condition, the policy recommends the recruitment of teachers on merit basis, objectivity and conformity with the spatial and functional recruitment. The pay and service conditions of teachers have to be improved to commensurate with their social and professional responsibilities. Teachers' Association must play a significant role in upholding professional integrity, enhancing the dignity of the teacher, and in curbing professional misconduct. National level Association of Teachers could prepare a code of professional ethics for teachers and see to its observance. Here in the teacher education, National Policy of Education includes overhauling. Teacher education is a continuous process. Its pre-service and in-service components are inseparable. As a first step, the system of teacher education will be overhauled. District Institutes of Education and Training will be established, that is DIETs, with the capability to organize pre-service and in-service courses for elementary school teachers and for the personnel working in the non-formal and adult education. Networking arrangements will be created between institutions of teacher education and University Department of Education. So the next part is the management of education. The guiding consideration will be decentralization and the creation of a spirit of autonomy in educational institutions. At national level, the departments of education at the center and in the states will be strengthened through the involvement of professionals. To improve management structure of education, Indian Education Service will be established. At state level, state governments may establish state advisory boards of education on the lines of CBSE. At the district level, district boards of education will be created to manage education up to the higher secondary level. And at the local level, local communities through appropriate bodies will be assigned a major role in programs of school improvement. Voluntary agencies, non-government and voluntary agencies will be encouraged with financial assistance to make significant contribution in the development of education system. And the second last part of the National Policy on Education is resources and review. It will be ensured that from the 8th 5-year plan onwards, expenditure will uniformly exceed 6% of the national income. Resources will be mobilized by mobilizing donations, asking the beneficiary community to maintain school buildings, raising fees at the higher level of education, effecting some savings by the efficient use of facilities, mobilizing funds by levying a cess or charge on the user agencies. Implementation of the various parameters of new policy must be reviewed after every 5 years. And the last 12th part of the National Policy on Education is the future. we are bound to succeed in achieving our objectives. The main task is to strengthen the base of the pyramid, which might come close to 1 billion of people at the turn of the century. Equally, it is important to ensure that those at the top of the pyramid are among the best in the world. So here we are discussing the merits and demerits of National Policy on Education 1986. Here are some of the merits. First is human development through education. As we know, the education is the fundamental to our all-round development. Second is common structure. As we have earlier discussed, the structure of education, that is 10 plus 2 plus 3. Pace-setting schools. Pace-setting school means Navodaya schools to serve the objective of excellence coupled with equity and social justice, and to develop the full potential of student as well. Next is equality of educational opportunities. Not only in access but also in the condition for success. Fairness of admission, irrespective of caste, creed, location, sex, etc. Encouraging talents and efficiency of students as well as teachers to proceed at a faster rate by making good quality education. Vocationalization, recruitment of teachers on merit basis, new programs for higher education like providing them with redesigning college education, planning and coordination, transformation of teaching methods, etc. Last but not the least is delinking degrees from jobs which will be applied in services for which a university degree need not to be a necessary qualification. So as we have discussed the National Policy on Education 1986, here are some of the demerits of the policy. First is neighborhood school program is completely ignored. Reservation of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes is casually mentioned. Roles of authorities who are to be taking responsibility is not mentioned. Financial matters are not clearly expressed. Even targets to be achieved are not mentioned. Private sector is also not acknowledged. So students, this is National Policy on Education 1986 with its critical appraisal. I hope you all have must understood the policy. Thank you.